Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So, how to make a control box for the Roland Cube series amps that can use control box. More specific, my Roland Cube 60 that I have, my cosm, it can use a foot box and 3 buttons. You know, your effects, your clean, dirty, and so on. So I've got this PV auto mixer box that I've had for a while. I've actually got one with 2 buttons as well that I built for another pedal, but I got to shorten the cable on. It's too bloody long. So I got these little momentary switches in, because that's all you need. Got these from Good for like dirt cheap. So I bought some in red, some in black, and I'm going to sort of color coordinate. So the red one's going to be for the reverb, and then of course we'll do the other ones. But I need to make the holes bigger, so for that you need a step drill for that. And unless of course you've already got a huge drill already, but I do. It's just that it's too big for any of my hand drills, and I don't feel like going outside and just running the drill press. So I figured, well, let's try it this way. And so you got to do this in stages a little bit, because you don't want to make the hole too big. Almost there. So, I'm going to go to the other side. Don't drill all the way through. Do it exactly how I'm doing it, otherwise you're going to make a disaster. Now, just a hairball more. Perfect. Alright, so I'll go drill the rest of these and we'll come back. Okay guys, so all 3 holes are now drilled. Switches are in as far as just sitting here. So this is actually going to be reverb, so I can leave that alone. This is going to be my EFX channel, and then of course my selector between my clean channel and getting into the modeling amps on that amplifier. Now, one of the problems you're going to find with this particular foot switch is these things are going to be a little on the short side, so you're not going to be able to use the nuts and washers unless you modify, which is what we're going to do next. Because, you know, hot glue is fine, I could do it, but, you know, I just assume not. So one of the things you're going to need is a set of clippers like this, and you're going to go inside and start clipping these little post pieces out of the way. Like so. You're going to probably need these as well. So now we got to get rid of this little ringing area. Now if you want to take the extra time, you can go in here with a Dremel and smooth all this out, but let's see if we need to do that or not. And I'm going to say not. So now we've got that one in there. This makes it easier that if you ever do wear out a switch, at least you can repair it with the least amount of hassle. I also like to have my poles lined up too. So you got to kind of put some good pressure on there and tighten them up. So I'm going to offset my pole a bit. And then I'm going to push down. I'm going to grab another pair of pliers. Trying to show you as much of this as I can on camera. I guess we'll go with this kind of a lineup because that's nice and tight. So I'm happy with that. So we'll line up the poles this way. It really makes no difference which way your poles are. I'm just picky like that for wiring. You know, it's got to go one way or the other. Because all you're doing here is you're going to be taking 1/4-inch jacks. We're going to need 3 of these puppies. You're taking 3 of these things and 1 off of each switch because there's 3 inputs on the amp. So we're going to need 3 of those. And any wiring that, I mean, you can use lamp cord wiring if you want to. You can use, well, speaker wire, which is basically lamp cord wire. I got a whack load of stuff here for wiring that I can use, so I'll probably just go with, you know, some skinny stuff just because I don't need it like really super heavy duty built. The other option would be to use 6 of these jacks and make cords that plug in with 1/4-inch jack inputs, which is another thing because then it makes it a lot more portable, less hassle for portability. But that's not how I'm going to do it. I don't want to waste jacks for that, considering this amp never goes anywhere. So I'm just going to drill a hole probably out here or out the front, more than likely out the front here, or backside actually, sorry, and then have all 3 switches worth of wiring come straight out, and then I can just, you know, zip tie them together or whatever to make one cable snake out of them. And I'll probably do something like about a 6-foot snake or something like that, you know, around that area. But anyways, I'll go and I'll finish doing the rest of these. So that's how you get those out. So a pair of these nippers, and of course a pair of these are handy too. And you can nip all that stuff out of there, and then you can at least make use of the nuts and washers that come with these switches, and makes it, like I said, easier to change. So that's our combiner switch. So we'll do the reverb switch next, and so on. So we'll be back. Okay guys, switches are all completely mounted. Turned out pretty awesome. And I found I had another PV cable, and this has got 4 wires in it, even though the headpiece had 6 connections, but I guess they cross a few or whatever, dummy loads, who knows. Anyway, so I got 4 wires in each, so I just cut the cable length in half, which gives me, let's check the length here. I got about 7 feet roughly. So I got 2 pieces about 7 feet long. So I'm going to feed them in here, like so. Kind of like this. Now these are going to connect to the switches. Now even though I got 8 wires, I'm only going to be using 6, which is no big deal. But I got to thinking, you know, hey, that makes sense to use this wire because it's actually good, flexible, heavy-duty wire. And at the same time, it's going to work out really good. So we'll start stripping the casings back and get things ready to wire. We'll come back and show you how to start soldering stuff up. Okay guys, so we got our wires stripped and ready to go. Now we've got to tin everything and start assembling. Now the one cable, each cable has 4 wires. So what I'm going to do, of course, is use only 2 wires out of the one. That's all I need to use. And so I figure I'll throw this one in the I'll throw this one in the reverb. But either way, we'll go ahead and tin these up. Soldering paste is definitely a must for doing this sort of stuff. Remember to always wash your hands too after messing with this crap. It is poisonous stuff. Okay. So, I'm going to put this one in here. Try and do as much of this as I can that you can see, hopefully. I don't like sticking wires through connector holes and looping them over for the simple fact that if you do your soldering job right in the first place, there's no need for it. Also, if you ever need to repair a solder joint or a wire, it's a lot easier to get it off of there without overheating stuff and wrecking stuff. So, what we're going to do to stop these wires from coming out is going to be zip ties. So don't go away. Alright, we're back with some zip ties. Now you always want to leave a little bit of play inside, just in case you do tug something, and you probably shouldn't. Alright, so that's not going to come out. That's golden. Now, we shall put the jack on the other end of this thing. I'm only going to do the one. You can get the idea from the rest of them that they all follow suit. It's going to be the same way. And when I'm done, I'll come back and show you it all finished and operating, of course. Make sure you keep these sleeves too. You're going to need them. Alright. So we're only using mono connections. We're not using a stereo connection. re-tin your stuff. And snip this one back a bit. Okay. Now, if you were going to build this sort of dealy, and you're going to be roughhousing with it, because you're gigging or whatever, and you want to have this sort of unit up on stage with you, at that point I would highly recommend using higher quality connectors. The reason being for that is these particular connectors, this little strapping piece, they don't squish in on these cheap ones. You would think they would, but they don't. And I like to keep a little bit of extra meat going on in here. And then I can fold this out of the way too at the same time. Keeps it away from the ground. And nothing can short out either. That's one done. So, I'll go finish this off, and we'll test this sucker out. Don't go away. Okay guys, it's testing time. Funny thing happened. I thought I had a couple of bad switches. Turns out it was a jack. Oh, that sucked. At least it was only a jack though, so my switches are actually all good. So I got 2 reds and 1 black. I don't really care. So we've got reverb where reverb is. And then I got the flanger effects area. Now the only thing with this is you have to set your dials where you're going to want them for your effects, right? So I use chorus a lot. And then of course clean channel to dirty. Works great. So, I mean, I could have gone with a better quality box, you know, made it more professional, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I already had the stuff on hand, so why not just use what I got on hand? So I had to order the switches, which I got from Banggood. I think they were like $1.24 or something like that for 3 of them, and that's with free shipping. But I ordered 6, so it cost me like $2.50 basically for 6 switches. So I've got backups or stuff for other projects. The box I already had. The cabling, of course, I had. The cabling isn't 4-wire, by the way. It is a 5-wire. It does have a ground shield wire in there, but of course I didn't use it, so I don't really care. Overall, it works good. You know, the jacks were cheap too. I got those from Banggood in China as well. Dirt cheap for like a pack of 10 of them. Although I did have one defective one, which is not bad out of 10s, you know. Like I still got about 4 left, and all the ones I've used so far work perfect except for this one, which is not a big deal. So, you know, and like I said, unless you're going to build something like this for gigging on stage with, you know, you can get away with the cheaper quality parts out of China. They're going to work. They're going to last like probably forever, you know, especially if you're like me and you're not moving your junk around. You know, so it gets the job done, that's for sure. And now I've got a foot switch to run everything instead of leaning over and whatnot. And then my students use this amplifier too. This main amp that actually they get to use, because I have my Katana 100 for me. But now, I mean, I've got like, you know, 6 feet of cable. You know, I can drag this thing right across to where they need it. It's all fine. So, awesome. Anyways, there's our project. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.